My brother-in-law is Joe Rogan's target demographic. My brother-in-law is a conspiracy theorist. A crazy conspiracy theorist. Like, my brother-in-law refuses to become an organ donor because he swears that if you get into an accident and the paramedics see that you're an organ donor, they won't try to save your life because they want to use your organs to help someone else. It's insane, but I can't argue with him. He's a paramedic.
What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and the media is trying to say that Joe Rogan's fans are now turning on him after he endorsed President Trump. And, well, we're going to have to take a look at the article together, but I'm not sure I buy it. On top of that, loser, washed up, irrelevant comedian, what is his name? Jeselnik, famous for about 3 minutes doing roast comedy, had a weird meltdown and called all of Joe Rogan's fans losers simply for listening to the podcast. You know, listening to the most famous podcast in the world. By the way, you guys know I don't listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm not, there's no reason, like, I'm not saying like I don't like it. I nothing it. I watch clips. But yeah, calling people effing losers for listening to the most popular podcast on the planet seems probably not like a great move. Let's get into today's story. By the way, reminder, today is our Black Friday sale on CoffeeBrandCoffee.com. Remember, we're a small business. We're not some YouTuber dropship garbage coffee, make money quick thing. We invest everything, you know, we roast our own stuff. Everything is completely unique to my company. You won't find these beans in this flavor and this roast level anywhere else. We have 20% off all coffee, tea, and cocoa today. We have 10% off our remaining advent calendars. If you haven't got one yet, better get one this weekend. They're going to be sold out. And 10% off our absolutely amazing gift boxes, where we have some pre-built options for you, but as well as one of the coolest features we have is a customizable gift box builder, where you can build the perfect gift box with the candy, sweets, cocoa, coffee, whatever you want in it. 10% off that. All the promo codes are in the description below. Please do think about supporting the channel and supporting our company today. I no longer believe anything I hear. Fans triggered as Joe Rogan's reputation in tatters after billionaire Mark Anderson's episode. I don't think his reputation is in tatters. That seems extremely unlikely to me. When Donald Trump appeared on JRE episode 2219, it was certain that things were never going to be the same. The hype that Joe Rogan was previously claimed to not be a Trump supporter and would never invite him on JRE. So when the billionaire politician appeared on the podcast as part of his presidential campaign, many assumed that Rogan had switched his political allegiance in favor of Trump. Actually, that's not true. Didn't he was very clear that he wanted Kamala Harris on the podcast as well. He was very clear that he didn't want just one. It was Kamala Harris who said, nah, I don't really want it. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to show up. Well, in episode 2234, which he's been an absolute tear releasing podcasts, Rogan hosted venture capitalist Mark Anderson. This was Anderson's third appearance, but this, for the first time ever, he went full on mega in what was his longest discussion yet. North of 3 hours, as in JRE policy. Topics range from something apolitical like meditations to worldview philosophies concerning Silicon Valley. The conversation also touched on politics. Too subtle? Not quite. The episode kicked off with the question too obvious for everyone's liking. Was he happy with the outcome of the presidential election? Anderson said he was very happy. Why wouldn't he be? Anderson has donated $2.5 million to the pro-Trump Right for America PAC. It wasn't a long time ago when he was a business partner. Ben Horowitz declared his support for Trump. So the episode has recorded more than 1 million views on YouTube in 24 hours. And it seems Anderson's mega discussion didn't go well with a lot of fans. Oh, really? Hold on a second. Let's see. Joe Rogan, Mark Anderson. Let's see. I assume it must have tens of thousands of dislikes. Let's see. Nope. It's got 2,000 dislikes. And just to put that in perspective, so it got a whole 2,000 dislikes. Let's put that in comparison to, I don't know, the show we uploaded yesterday. Or here, how about Scott's Store? 7.6 thousand dislikes. Like, this has 8,000 dislikes compared to an episode that is supposedly Joe Rogan's fans are raging about with 2,000. And like, man looks like a professional ice cream taster. Bring us Jeremy Clarkson. Maybe the worst guy to be around if you're trying to sneak out a fart. None of these people are complaining about the politics, not a single comment. So is this article on Essentially Sports is completely false. It's completely made up. Rogan took to announce the episode with Mark Anderson. He wrote on Instagram, one of the most brilliant people that I'm fortunate to talk to. Mark laid out some really shocking details of how individuals with the wrong politics get debanked and how certain regulations are in place to allow governments to complete control of business that they deem important. Really eye-opening stuff. Okay. So I'm confused. I'm truly confused here. Where's all the oh, I finally got to it. It's 2 comments. It's been a long journey, but I no longer believe anything I hear on this show. Oh boy, Joe Rogan, the common man whisperer, is talking to yet another venture capitalist that he almost certainly got recommended by J.D. Vance, Elon, or Peter Thiel. I can't wait to hear all the working class issues today they address, LOL. 2 comments. Now, criticism is not something new to the podcast, sir. JRE is political now. They cherry pick a few comments to try and say that the fans are mad. Meanwhile, you have Anthony Jeselnik on Joe Rogan. Not even necessarily Joe Rogan, but Joe Rogan's fans calling them all losers.
And yes, I did mention Joe Rogan, guys. Do not get me wrong.
It's kind of a quiet clip, but it is what it is.
Like Joe. Joe's my friend. Joe's a good guy.
I don't know about that.
But if you listen to his podcast, you're a fucking loser. He's a paramedic.
Okay, okay joke at the end, I guess. If you listen to the largest show in history in the world, you're a loser. Like, I guess, the punchline was pretty funny, though. He's been on JRE, so clearly it was just a setup for the punchline. I guess nothing is funny when people have lost the ability to laugh. I mean, sure, maybe it's, maybe people, maybe I'm being too sensitive. It's possible. It's definitely possible. I'm sure Joe isn't upset about it. I'm sure he can, take a joke about it. I don't think he's, let's see. Nope. He hasn't commented on it. He hasn't made any real, I don't think he really cares. Now, if he wants to call, Joe Rogan fans losers, that's one way to go about it. Then there's this Australian broadcasting guy. Listen to this guy.
I have a question about Joe Rogan, and you've sort of touched on elements of this in the US. He's obviously the world's most popular podcast host. He has 3 billion listeners. He's sort of managed to successfully capture that bro market in America. And his influence is such that in the wake of the US election, the Democrats have said that one of Kamala Harris's mistakes was that she didn't appear on his program. So I'm just wondering if you had any observations about what's behind the Joe Rogan effect, how you believe he's managed to so successfully capture this huge market. And then for us here in Australia, how
she can't remember her own question.
Would or should the ABC be going about capturing that kind of audience?
Look, I'm not sure that I'm the right person to respond to that question. I am not a consumer or enthusiast about Mr. Rogan and his work.
Shocking.
I am not one of the 3 billion. and I'm unlikely to be 3,000,001 anytime soon.
Okay.
I think people like Mr. Rogan prey on people's vulnerabilities. They prey on fear. They prey on anxiety.
You mean like the mainstream media? You mean like the entire mainstream media? Look how this article, I just talked about it. Essentially Sports. His fans turn on him. Really? Where? The video that you're referencing has basically the normal amount of dislikes. You're the mainstream media. You're talking about, here's Joe Rogan. Here's a mainstream media headline. The person that took Laken Riley's life never stood a chance. What this piece of garbage did, he never deserved a chance. The mainstream media is the enemy of the people. That's, obvious. If anybody who watches the show, who watches, the mainstream media, knows that they hate you, they will lie to you happily and as much as they can get away with. So of course they're worried about Joe Rogan. Of course you have Anthony Jeselnik calling people losers. Here's hands up if you're a loser, 150,000 likes. Again, maybe, Jeselnik does kind of rip on everyone, but he's not exactly A class or B class or C class. He had his moment in the sun, but yeah, good for you. I hope it brings you a bunch of new Leftoid fans, buddy. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.